You guys know I love podcasting and listening to podcasts, and I'm guessing if you're listening to this that you love podcasts too. Have you ever considered podcasting yourself? It is a great way to reach your audience, grow your know, like and trust factor, and not need to show your face unless you want to. If it is something you've thought about but you don't know where to start, then head over to becomeapodcaster.uk/BAP quiz, BAP quiz, to access a 2-minute quiz that will help you work out what type of podcast might suit you. That's becomeapodcaster.uk/BAP quiz. Last week, we spoke about where you can show up differently as a wedding supplier and the importance of creating your uniqueness. Today, we're going to talk about that uniqueness and where it comes from. Let's jump in. You're listening to the Wedding Procast UK, the place to be if you are a UK wedding professional looking to grow and streamline your business. I'm your host, Donna Eade, 10-year wedding photography veteran and CEO at the Society of Professional Wedding Vendors. If you want to grow and streamline your business, this is the podcast for you. Make sure you hit subscribe where you listen or join our email list at www.spwv.co.uk. You'll find the sign up form at the bottom of every episode, and by doing so, you won't miss a thing. So let's jump into today's show. Today, we are going to look at 3 areas where you can create uniqueness, where your USP can make you stand out from the crowd. It may seem obvious to some, but to others, you might be wondering, why do I have to be unique? No one's reinventing the wheel here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and all that. But the truth of the matter is, look back at the stats I gave you last week. I'm pretty sure a majority of suppliers need more than 10 weddings a year. Unless weddings make up a small percentage of your revenue, then perhaps not. But if you want to do more weddings, if you want to move away from something else that you're doing and have the capacity to do more weddings, then blending in, doing what has been done before, isn't going to cut it. So let's jump in to those 3 areas where uniqueness pays. Now, before I do that, USP is unique selling proposition. If you have not heard the phrase before, I'm sure you have. It is used quite a lot in business, but sometimes all these acronyms fly around and we never really know what they are. So unique selling proposition, basically what makes you stand out? Why would somebody buy from you versus one of your competitors? So number 1 area where you can create uniqueness is your personality. This is something no one else can copy, and it actually plays a huge part in the process of weddings, especially in those customer-facing day of roles. So if you're a celebrant, a photographer, an entertainer, a musician, your USP should appeal to your ICA. There's another acronym. Ideal Client Avatar. So that person who you really want to work with, in that it will likely deter those who aren't your ICA, but that's okay. So your personality should be a match for the clients that you are wanting to work with. If you are a complete introvert, a very quiet person, maybe a little bit shy, maybe a little bit understated in the way you do things, then a couple who are loud and proud and brash and want, emphasis on more is more and all of that, that might not be the best couple for you to work with. It might be better that you work with a couple who are themselves quite shy, quite introverted, don't really want to be the center of attention, but want a beautiful wedding day. And that would be a personality match. So your personality is a huge, huge part of what would make a couple choose you over somebody else, especially if you are one of those vendors who is going to be working with them on the day. It's not as big an importance for, say, the florists who may be dropping things off on the day and then leaving, or the stylists who are kind of do the work and then disappear and nobody actually ever sees them. It might not be as important, but it is a huge part of what makes you unique. And therefore, even in the meetings and the phone calls, if you can get your personality across and you can work with people who match that personality, then you are going to find that the working relationship is much easier and flows much better, and you're going to have a better experience for both you and the couple. So if you aren't a solopreneur and your personal personality isn't front and center, then what you want to look at is your brand personality. And I did an episode with Lynn Stainthorpe, which I will link to in the show notes, all about your brand personality. It's really important that your brand has a personality that you can actually show people, make them think and feel something when they see your brand. So brand personality is really important as well if you are a business where there is more than one person involved and you aren't necessarily spearheading everything. So secondly, what you sell. That is another place where you can make yourself very unique. Your packages, your menu of service, your products, you can make this as unique as you are. Changing things up, find different products and sources and talk about them. So if you are a florist, for example, and you use a local flower farm for all of your floral displays, then tell people that. Tell people that that's where the flowers are coming from. Talk about it. Tell the story. Do a blog post on it. Have it in the about section. Have it on the packages page. Have it everywhere that you actually use local flower farms to create your displays, to create your bouquets, because that is going to be a huge selling point, especially to the eco-conscious couples, especially to those who want in-season flowers and things like that. So this is going to be a really unique selling point versus the majority of florists that go to the flower markets and get them shipped in, or, you know, whatever it is. If you do something that's slightly different, that's the thing you want to talk about. And the same with dresses. Maybe you only use designers from Paris for your dresses, and your dresses are all Parisian dresses. Well, if that's the case, then tell people, you know, talk about it. Talk about why you only use certain dresses and certain sources. Why do you go to specific places for your products, and talk about that, because that is what's going to make you unique. Now, that is not to say that you need to be sitting there telling everybody every single minute detail of what you do, but these sort of things are what sets you apart. So if somebody is absolutely a person who loves Paris, it's the most romantic city in the world, and, you know, they've dreamed of going, they want to go up the Eiffel Tower, or they've been several times and it's just a place that really is close to them, then if they know that all of your dress designs come from Parisian designers, they're going to be like, you're talking to me, you're talking my language. That unique thing is going to set you apart in their mind. Now, is it going to do that for everyone? No, absolutely not. However, a lot of other people will see it and go, oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that. It's going to be something that's enticing, and they're going to go, it's going to stick out, and it's going to be something that they remember. So even if it's not something that they're going to because they love Paris, it's going to be something that sets you apart from other people. And it's not necessarily that is going to lead to every couple going to you because you do something different, but it is going to speak to certain types of couples that want that difference or like that difference over what they're seeing elsewhere. So it's really important to pull on those things that make you unique. So although services may be the same, if you're a photographer, for example, the way you present them and the detail you put in can be completely unique. So how you have them set up on your website, how they are delivered to people in brochures or in PDF form, however you do that, it can be completely unique to you, and you don't have to do it the same way as everybody else. So for example, a lot of people like video over reading something. So maybe instead of a printed brochure, you actually talk them through your packages in a video. So they get to see you, they get to see your personality, they get to hear and understand from your lips exactly what you do for them on their day. And you can tell the story. So here is an example for you. What is the difference between this? I had a scone for afternoon tea. Okay, that's a statement. You might go, oh yeah, I like a scone. I'd like a scone. Now I want a scone. You might say that. However, what about I had a freshly baked scone with raisins. It was still warm and the jam melted when I put it on. The clotted cream was divine. Now your mouth's watering, right? I know mine is. So the words matter and they can be completely unique. You need to sell the product. You don't have to be over the top, and maybe my description of a scone was a little more over the top than necessary, but clients need to understand what they're buying and you don't have to be boring about it. So make sure that the words you use are easy to understand, but add some personality. You know, if everybody is putting for this package, you will get 400 images, you will get a USB, you will get 10 prints and a canvas. Yeah, and you know, that's not selling the story. That is not selling the experience. So try and be different in the way you present that, because that is going to make a huge difference. Okay. And finally, and this is one of my big ones, you can create uniqueness in your customer service. So I touched on this last week with communication, but the customer experience from the get-go can really make you stand heads and tails above other suppliers. A wedding day is a special occasion and it means a lot to a couple. A lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of effort and thought goes into what they want. And to know that their suppliers understand this and want to contribute to making that day magical and as easy as possible for them is what is going to help them make their decisions. So grab a paper and pen and look at your client journey, start to finish, every single touch point. What can you change? What can you add? And where can you surprise and delight your clients? A great experience, even if they don't choose you, will leave a mark and possibly get you referrals regardless. And if you do get chosen and continue to surprise and delight, those word of mouth referrals will keep coming for years to come. I still have one of my photography clients who will, if I put a post out, comment and say, I absolutely loved having you as our photographer. She is such a gem. And it's because I went above and beyond for her and she really enjoyed the experience. Now she talks about it when she sees me online. She will say hello. She will talk about it again. So it is really important to look at that. So where are your clients first interacting with you? What is that experience like? And you can pull in other people to help you decide this, you know, because you obviously, hopefully, think your website is good. You might not realize where you're falling down on certain areas. So maybe you go back to some couples and ask them what their experience was like. Find out what they liked and just really do a deep dive into all of those touch points. When do I start talking to them? What do they see before I start talking to them? What is the next step after we've had a conversation? How many times do I email them before we, get together, a week before, a month before? When do I get together with them? What does that journey look like step by step? And it's also important to let your couples know what that journey looks like, because a lot of the times couples will talk to suppliers, they will maybe book them, they'll pay their deposit, and then all of a sudden they don't hear from that vendor again for the next 8 to 12 months, like till 8 weeks before the wedding or something, and they don't hear from them. That is kind of scary. That is, they have just paid you a massive deposit and you just almost drop off the face of the earth unless they come to you. So have some points throughout that. Here is where you can surprise and delight and send them something, even if it's just hey, just checking in, want to see how wedding planning's going, can't wait to get together and talk about your photography, whatever it is. Have those points of contact, and you can set that up. MailChimp automations, guys, MailChimp automations, or any mail service provider, but I love MailChimp. You can set up automations to go out so that they are getting something from you, so that they don't feel like they've been completely forgotten and are left wondering, are they even going to turn up? Because that is a scary thing. So definitely look at your customer journey and how you can surprise and delight your clients. So today we have looked where you can add your unique selling proposition in your business, from your personality or brand personality to your services and products to your customer experience. This is important stuff to look at and to change, modify and enhance over time. And I think it would be a great idea to add this to your low season priorities. If you have listened to my series, head back to episode 121 for the start of that series and add it in to your planning session there and look at what you can do to create that uniqueness. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a short one this week. Check us out. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please do head over to Instagram, DM me, Donna SPWV. Happy to chat. If you are not yet in the Facebook group for the podcast, then come and join us over there, the Wedding Procast UK group. And if you could share this episode with somebody in the industry, I will be eternally grateful. Until next week, guys. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.